Welcome to the haunted tales from the old rocking chair. And now your host, Christina Spencer.
Well, hello there. Come on in and get cozy by the fireplace. Let me get settled into my old rocking chair and I'll tell you a couple stories. Haunting stories. Stories that are not for the faint of heart. Some of these stories may not be about hauntings per se, but nonetheless will haunt you. Because after all, some of the most scary things in life are not ghosts and demons, but the people we cross on the street. If you're brave enough, keep listening. If not, get up and leave now because you'll never be the same. Don't say I didn't warn you. Welcome to the Haunting Stories from the Old Rocking Chair. Light Glowing Eyes, written by Mosaic Unearthed. The following is a very true experience. I've never actually wrote this down before, and I don't know if anyone has experienced this too. It happened between 1989 and 1990, and I was about the age of 4 years old. To this day, I still get chills thinking about it, and I'm wondering if some unknown way it changed me. My parents had a house in the Inland Empire of Southern California, and at the time my brother hadn't been born yet, so I was still the only child. To give you a layout, my parents' house was a 2-story house located in a cul-de-sac. One of the bottom floors there were 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, a living room, and a kitchen. The second floor was just the master bedroom and a bath. All you could see from the street was the garage and one of the bedroom windows on the bottom floor and the window of my mom's bathroom on the second floor. To get to the front door, you had to walk along a cement pathway that ran along the side of the house. You had to pass the first bedroom that you can see from the street, then you pass the bathroom window and then another bedroom window, and then you would be at the front door. The backyard was beyond that point. My bedroom at that time was the bedroom next to the front door. Now, for some reason, my blinds weren't completely down to the bottom of the window. There was about 6 inches of gap with nothing covering it. I was pretty young, so I didn't really care much about it then. The bed was in the middle of the wall across from my bedroom door. To the left was the window. According to my mom, this all happened right before midnight. My mother was asleep in her room upstairs, and my dad was a policeman that worked nights in another city. I was fast asleep in my room, and out of nowhere I suddenly awoke, looking up at the ceiling. I don't know what woke me or if I just popped open awake on my own. After my eyes adjusted to the night lights of my bedroom, I sat up and stared looking around my room. All of a sudden something caught my eye at the window, between the gap. First I thought it was the street light reflecting in the window, but I knew for a fact there was only one street light, and what I was looking at was 2 obvious glowing spots that were spaced apart as if it was on someone's face. Then I thought, is that a cat looking at me? And yes, I vividly remember thinking these things, trying to debunk this at 4 years old. I had remembered then that my cat Chelsea, her eyes would reflect at night. But this looked different than that. The cat's eyes would almost have different colors when reflecting. These were 2 very solid, bright, white, glowing eyes, looking straight at me. I just stared at them, frozen stiff, trying to make sense of what I'm seeing. I couldn't see a face at all. The eyes were just so bright, nothing else stood out. The void, or face, around the eyes looked blacker than the night. I thought again, well, if this is a cat, how could a cat be big like a person, and why would a cat stand up to stare in my bedroom? The curiosity got me, and I went for it. I flipped off my covers, turned my little 4-year-old body towards the window, and put my feet on the floor. This is the moment The creepiest thing happened, and it would forever be burned into my brain. I got off my bed and got on my knees to get a closer look at this so-called cat. When at this very moment, this faceless pair of glowing white eyes began to slowly and steadily tilt to the side. The eyes still locked on me, not blinking once. The feeling of dread and fear shot through my body. Completely terrified, I burst into tears immediately and booked it down the hallway, through the living room, up the stairs to tell my mom. Although I was going as fast as I could, it felt like it took forever. When I got to my mom, I was so upset. I couldn't get any words out. Tears were streaming down my face, and my mom was becoming seriously concerned at this point. She was able to calm me down just enough for me to get out the words, "There is white eyes looking at me through my window on the bottom." I stuttered, crying hard. "Are you sure?" Mom asked. I just cried out, "Yes!" She didn't even go down to look. She just called the police. I don't remember the time it took for them to arrive or what they said because I finally fell asleep in my mom's bed. I do remember faintly waking up to the knock on the door and my mom going to open it. The cop spoke to her, and I heard her say, "Okay, thank you, good night," and she shut the door. "Did they find it, Mommy?" I asked, half asleep. "No, honey," he said, "they couldn't find anyone." My mom told me softly, "It's okay now, just try to go back to sleep." It's safe to say that the next day, my whole window was covered. Fast forward a couple years, and I'm in middle school now. Every now and then, I would think about that night. Sometimes I would wonder, in that moment, if it was real. If those eyes were really there. Those unforgettable white eyes. One day, a random thought came, and I asked my mom if she remembered that night. Well, she tells me, "Yes, of course. Why?" "I don't know. Just wondering, I guess," I said. The mom proceeds to say, "Well, I never told you this, but when the deputy came out that night, he told me they made it a priority to get out to our house as soon as they could, because not very long before I called, they received another call from someone else reporting that someone was looking in their window in our same neighborhood." Hearing that sent chills down my spine. And to this day, I wonder who or what was looking at me that night. Scary phone number story, written by Alma the Lab 19. This happened to me about a year ago, in July 2019. My best friend came over. We played some PC games, we played with my dog, and when it started to get dark, we got a little bored, so we just started talking about random things. At one point, an idea came to my mind to call 666. I knew nothing was going to happen, and I was right. Nothing happened. But when my friend said, "What if you called 076-666-6666?" In our country, every phone number starts with 07. I called the number and it beeped twice. I then hung up. I was very scared and paranoid because I didn't expect it to work. I told my friend, who was a little ways away from me, so he couldn't hear the beeping. At first, he didn't believe me. Only when I sounded very serious did he believe me. He told me that it probably was someone's number, and the beeping sound was the call not being able to go through. I calmed down a bit, blocked the number because I was very paranoid, and we continued to have fun. After he left, I went to take a shower, and upon coming out of the shower, I noticed I had a missed call from that number. I was extremely freaked out. I just blocked that number an hour ago. How in the hell did the person call me? I called my friend and told him about the call, and he kept asking me if I really blocked it. I said I was 100% sure I did. We were both really freaked out. I barely had any sleep that night, thinking about how that could have happened. The next day, around noon, I got another call from an unknown number. Thinking it was either the same person or my friend messing with me, I ignored it. A few moments later, I got a text from the cursed number saying, and I quote, "You shouldn't have disturbed me." Chills went down my spine and I started crying. My parents were at work. I was so freaked out I almost passed out. I took a screenshot of the message and sent it to my friend. He couldn't believe me. He came over straight away. Later that day, I got a few more calls from that unknown number. I knew for sure it wasn't my friend because he was right next to me when I got called. I didn't want to go to the police because I knew they weren't going to do anything about it. I tried to calm myself down, saying it's just probably somebody joking and is angry because I called him. I got another message saying, "You are as scared as I am hungry. I hate you little kids, always thinking it's funny calling my number. I will cut you open and eat your organs while you watch. It's going to be fun." At this point, I didn't know what to do. My friend called the police and they started looking into it. For the next few days, I was still very scared, but the messages and calls stopped. About 9 days after I called the number, my mom got a call from the police saying that they'd found the guy who was doing it. Apparently, he was an ex-con, released from prison a few months ago, and I'm not the only person he's done this to. His number was actually 076-666-6666, and he thought it was funny to prank people like this. He got 6 years in prison and has been permanently banned from the internet. As for how he was able to still call my number, it turns out I actually didn't block it. I must have thought I did because there was no record of his number ever being blocked by me. That was quite a story, and I will carry it with me for the rest of my life. I hope you all enjoyed all of our haunted tales this evening. If you would like to discuss any of the stories on tonight's podcast, or just chat live with me, join our Discord server. I'm always live on there during and after the podcast every Sunday night starting at 7 p.m. Join our community on our Facebook group page and YouTube channel. If you have a haunting story of your own or artwork and you want to submit it for consideration for the future show, drop me a line on our Reddit page or email address. All our links are below in the description. Special thanks to Darken Mood, Darken_M00D, for all his wonderful art that you can check out on his Reddit page. I want to thank all our brave storytellers, for without them there would be no show. A detailed list of story credits are in the description. But most importantly, I want to thank you, the listener, for taking time out of your day to listen to Haunted Tales from the Old Rocking Chair. I hope you have a wonderful night, and as always, sweet dreams.